Good evening. Oh my goodness. I have this big smile on my face because I just noticed I have a member on my channel. I saw the badge. I saw the grasshopper emoji. This is so exciting. Fortify. Holy cow. Sorry, I'm just really distracted right now because I never got notified that I had a member by YouTube. And I do. I have one member, one more member, and then scribbles can be an emoji. This is super exciting. Are you all ready for some reading this evening? Sorry, I'm so excited. You're probably getting ready for bed. You too can use these emojis if you become a member. Just saying. The 5 love languages. Now I got to upload all these member videos that I have on my editing table that I haven't uploaded yet. Falling in Love, Chapter 3. If y'all missed the other 2 videos, that's okay because Chapter 5 you'll probably want to watch after this one. But Chapters 1 and 2 are in my live reading playlist and my live video playlist. How are y'all doing, by the way? What are 3 things that happened today and 3 things that you feel about it? Even though that's coming up in the next chapter, which is quality time. Quality time, aka sharing our heart space. Ow! Oh my goodness. Falling in Love, Chapter 3. She showed up at my office without an appointment and asked my secretary if she could see me for 5 minutes. I had known Janice for 18 years. She was 36 and had never married. From time to time, she had made appointments with me to discuss a particularly difficulty in one of her dating relationships. She was by nature a conscientious, caring person, so it was completely out of character for her to show up at my office unannounced. How rude of her! Hey, Kevin Diesel. Oh, I am so sorry. Does he have videos? I'm sure you've got videos of him drumming. I'd love to see it. Thanks for sharing. Let's see. Something that happened to me today is I went to Whole Foods and I felt rich because it's so expensive there. But I got some good deals. They have some really great microgreens. I'll show you them when I take a break. And also some golden cherry tomatoes. Aww. That's beautiful, Kevin. Thanks for sharing. So Janice was being very rude, showing up unannounced here at Gary Chapman's office, the author of this book. I thought there must be some terrible crisis for Janice to come without an appointment. I told my assistant to show her in, and I fully expected to see her burst into tears and tell me some tragic story as soon as the door was closed. Instead, she practically skipped into my office, beaming with excitement. How are you today, Janice? I asked. Great, she said. I've never been better in my life. I'm getting married. You are, I said. To whom and when? To David Gillespie, she exclaimed. In September. That's exciting. How long have you been dating? 3 weeks. I know. It's crazy, Dr. Chapman. After all the people I have dated and the number of times I came so close to getting married, I can't believe it myself, but I know David is the one for me. From the first date, we both knew it. Of course, we didn't talk about it on the first night, but 1 week later, he asked me to marry him. I knew he was going to ask me, and I knew I was going to say yes. I have never felt this way before. You know about the relationships that I have had through the years and the struggles I've had. In every relationship, something was not right. I never felt at peace about marrying any of them. But I know that David is the right one. Kevin says he played in the Shriner Band. I might throw something up one day. My music career is over, though. Peace and good night. Good luck with your court date. Oh, court's over. I was found not guilty. Everything was dismissed, but thank you for that. Okay. Well, sending so much love to you for Sunday and just always. By this time, Janice was rocking back and forth in her chair, giggling and saying, I know it's crazy, but I am so happy. I have never been this happy in my life. What has happened to Janice? She has fallen in love. In her mind, David is the most wonderful man she has ever met. He is perfect in every way. He will make the ideal husband. She thinks about him day and night. The facts that David has been married twice before, has 3 children, and has had 3 jobs in the past year are trivial to Janice. So she's number 3 and job number 3 and kid number 3. She's happy and she's convinced that she's going to be happy forever with David. She's in love. Most of us enter marriage by way of the in love experience. We meet someone whose physical characteristics and personality traits create enough electrical shock to trigger our love alert system. The bells go off. Electrical shock. Love shock. Well, these are all made up names, he said in the beginning. He's not using people's real names. Our love alert system. Love alert, alert. This is love alert. The bells go off and we set in motion the process of getting to know the person. The first step may be sharing a hamburger or steak, depending on our budget, over a combo. But our real interest is not in the food. We are on a quest to discover love. Could this warm, tingly feeling I have inside be the real thing? She asked. Oh, no, wait. That's something we ask ourselves. Could this warm, tingly feeling I have inside be the real thing? Sometimes we lose the tingles on the first date. We find out that he spends time on crackpot websites where she attended 6 colleges, and the tingles run right out of our toes. We want no more hamburgers with them. Hamburger patty. He's really into this hamburger story. Other times, however, the tingles are stronger after the hamburger than before. Okay. We arrange for a few more together experiences, aka dates. And before long, the level of intensity has increased to the point where we find ourselves saying, I think I'm falling in love. I don't know if that was an Irish accent or what that was. It was like a Long Island mixed with Irish. Eventually, we are convinced that it is the real thing. And we tell the other person, hoping the feeling is reciprocal. If it isn't, things cool off a bit, or we redouble our efforts to impress and eventually win the love of our beloved. When it's reciprocal, we start talking about marriage because everyone agrees that being in love is the necessary foundation for a good marriage. The anteroom of heaven. At its peak, the in love experience is euphoric. We are emotionally obsessed with each other. We go to sleep thinking of one another. When we rise, that person is the first thought on our minds. What a distraction. We long to be together. Spending time together is like playing in the anteroom of heaven. The anteroom? The ant? What is the anteroom? Yeah, I was just thinking about that today, Kevin, how like when you have financial issues, relationships are a lot harder. Okay, what does anteroom mean? Anteroom, yeah, that's how you say it. It's a small room leading to a main one. It sounds like the opposite, like ante room, like the opposite of the room. So it's the waiting room. Okay. So room before a room before a room. Yeah, but it sounds like ANCI, which is confusing. Yeah, the ante and gambling. So it's the gambling room. Um, blah 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 blah. Spending time together is like playing in the anteroom of heaven. It's like right before heaven. Okay, that's kind of cool. When we hold hands, it seems as if our blood flows together. We could kiss forever if we didn't have to go to school or work. Embracing sparks dreams of marriage and ecstasy. Embracing sparks dreams of marriage and ecstasy. The person who is in love, we'll call her Jen, has the illusion that her beloved is perfect. Her best friend can see the flaws. It bothers her how he talks to Jen sometimes, but Jen won't listen. Her mother, noting the young man, seems unable to hold a steady job, keeps her concerns to herself, but asks polite questions about Ryan's plans. Our dreams before marriage are of marital bliss. We are going to make each other supremely happy. Other couples may argue and fight, but not us. We love each other. Of course, we are not totally naive. We know intellectually that we will eventually have differences, but we are certain that we will discuss those differences openly. One of us will always be willing to make concessions, and we will reach agreement. It's hard to believe anything else when you are in love. We have been led to believe that if we are really in love, it will last forever. We will always have the wonderful feelings that we have at this moment. Nothing could ever come between us. Nothing will ever overcome our love for each other. We are caught up in the beauty and charm of the other's personality. Our love is the most wonderful thing we have ever experienced. We observe that some married couples seem to have lost that feeling. You lost that love and feeling. But it will never happen to us. Maybe they didn't have the real thing, we reason. Mom gave me his huge triple bass drum set. I will travel if anyone needs a wicked drummer. So your music career isn't over. That's so ironic, Kevin, because I was just about to post a short of me playing a drumstick, and then YouTube was like, "This video is restricted in visibility." So I requested a review, so I'm gonna wait because if it's not restricted when I release it, that's probably better. Um, but anyway, unfortunately, the eternality of the in love experience is fiction, not fact. What? It's not true. Falling in love with love is falling for make believe. The writer of that song would agree with you, Gary. Falling in love with love is playing the fool. I fell in love with love one day when the moon was young. He says the eternality of the in love experience is fiction, not fact. Do you agree? All of you lovebirds out there, all you flying penguins, you penguin third eyes. The late psychologist Dr. Dorothy Tenov conducted long-range studies on the in-love phenomenon. Oh, really? Did she fall in love over and over again to study it? After studying scores of couples, she concluded that the average lifespan of a romantic obsession is 2 years. I've heard that. I've heard that. Dr. Ruth. She says you should always be friends with someone for 2 years before you try to be in any kind of relationship. If it is a secretive love affair, it may last a little longer. Eventually, however, we all descend from the clouds and plant our feet in the earth again. Our eyes are opened, and we see the warts of the other person. Her quirks are now merely annoying. He shows a capacity for hurt and anger, perhaps even harsh words and critical judgments. Those little traits that we overlooked when we were in love now become huge mountains. She's got a big butt and I can't no but um so seriously, plant the feet on the earth again. What about plant a tree? That's the Jewish experiment, a Jewish expression. When the Messiah comes, plant a tree. Don't just depend on heaven being on earth. Maybe heaven being on earth is planting your feet and the tree in the ground. Yes. 5 years, eh? What are you, 100 years old? Mr. Masashio prefers to wear off the shiny before making such decisions. I mean, that's a Buddhist expression. Like, if you see someone that's really attractive, like, imagine that they have snakes coming out of their head, like they're Medusa, and see if you still like them. Um, where are we? Reality intrudes. Ugh, reality, you're so rude. Why do you intrude? Welcome to the real world of marriage, where hairs are always on the sink and a little white spots cover the mirror. Ew, toothpaste? Hair's not always in my sink. Um, and I don't have a mirror in my bathroom. I think I don't like a mirror right there. It takes away from my bedtime ritual to like look in the mirror. It's like I could just brush my teeth without looking in the mirror. What? Who started the whole mirror thing? I mean, I guess it's good to like wash your face and have a mirror, but I have a mirror to the side. I don't want it intruding on me. I don't want to always look at myself, you know? That's a cute word, chubber. Where white spots cover the mirror. Maybe in your house. I don't use white toothpaste. I use the mud earth. And sometimes a squirt of brown flings onto the white wall. And I think it's the funniest thing. That is something that I think is so funny when you're trying to squeeze toothpaste out and it like shoots across the room. It doesn't all the time, but sometimes it's just like exactly the days that I need a laugh is when it happens. Where arguments center on which way the toilet paper comes off and whether the lid should be up or down. Down. Always down before you flush so it doesn't spray everywhere. It is a world where shoes do not walk to the closet and drawers do not close themselves. Where coats do not like hangers and socks go AWOL during laundry. In this world, a look can hurt and a word can crush. Intimate lovers can become enemies, and marriage is a battlefield. That's so exciting, Gary. What happened to the in love experience? Alas, it was but an illusion by which we were tricked into signing our names on the dotted line, for better or for worse. No wonder so many have come to curse. You're a poet. Marriage, and the partner whom they once loved. After all, if we were deceived, we have a right to be angry. Did we really have the real thing? I think so. The problem was faulty information. Ain't nothing but the real thing, thing. Y'all need to tell Dr. Chapman if he wants the soundtrack to his book, he needs to come to Aviva Sings Out. I know. I'm kind of banking on that, Kevin. Like, sounds like a narcissist love bombing the chick, doesn't it? 3 weeks marriage. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I think I've had several marriage proposals from narcissists. I never took them seriously because after the first fight, they never want to talk to you again. I mean, if you have good boundaries, I guess. Ain't nothing but the real thing, thing, thing. The bad information was the idea that the in love obsession would last forever. We should have known better. A casual observation should have taught us that if people remained obsessed, we would all be in serious trouble. Okay, I don't agree with all of this. I think you can have that love feeling. Like similar to like my kitty cat. I love her so much. She annoys me sometimes because she's kind of demanding, but like you can love someone so deeply. And I think that's similar to feeling in love. But like the difference between kitty cats and relationships is that she's like I'm feeding her all the time. Like I don't expect her to like get a job and buy me stuff, you know? It's like I'm just buying her stuff. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. What's your comment? How dare you not agree with all of this? I thought you was married, not trying to mess up your show. I can delete this message. You're gonna ruin my marriage. Just kidding. No, I'm not married. Did you ever see a ring on this finger? I've taught so many qigong classes. You think I take it off before qigong? She's in charge and you don't question it. Is that the difference? I think it's just that, we're both so independent, you know? Like, and I'm so understanding of her boundaries. Like, if she doesn't want me to pet her, like, I'm totally cool with it. And when she comes and she wants to be petted, I'm like, "Oh, this is so special." But she does her own thing. Like, even though I feed her, like, I feel like she could survive without me in a way. But the thing is like they say, there was this other psychologist who said one thing that really makes men fall in love deeply is when they feel needed. I mean, I guess he would call it acts of service, but we're not up to that yet. It's like when you feel really needed, it triggers something in you. And I think like I really feel that Tiger Lily needs me and I need her, and I think she knows that. I think when you need each other, it's a different level than being in love, and that's different than being dependent on someone. Like, needing someone in your life, like, I don't know. Okay, we'll continue that. There's about to be an ad pop up, by the way. Through the AC vents? Oh my god. You need to get a cover. Do you not have a cover? Like, I work for this hoarder that has so many covers if you need one. Um, Let me know the size. I'll see if she has any. I threw a lot out, but she's still got a bunch. Thanks for the thumbs up, by the way. Um, by the way, if anyone is just popping on, I have one member and one more, and I'll be able to have a scribbles emoji. And right now, all the members have these emojis. Blank. And it's only $2.99 a month, and you get to see all the member videos. And I'm gonna put up 2 more this weekend. Okay, we should have known better. In love does not last forever. A casual observation should have taught us that if people remained obsessed, we would all be in serious trouble. Okay, here's the other thing about cats that I heard is they have this, like, toxin that they emit that supposedly makes you intoxicated, that, like, makes you fall in love with them. But see, I don't think that's any different than people. I think we have smells, and I think that there's something that we put off that gets other people to fall in love with us sometimes. Anyway, the shock waves would rumble through business, industry, church, education, and the rest of society if we would be obsessed. Why? Because people who are in love lose interest in other pursuits. That is why we call it obsession. The college student who falls head over heels in love sees his grades tumbling. It is difficult to study when you are in love. I mean, I think it's difficult to get things done when I'm taking care of someone's needs. You know, that's just as important as being in love. It's like, I don't have as much time to do video editing since Kitty Cat has been in my life because I have to take care of her. We go on walks and stuff. So, oh, cool, Kevin. So anyway, yeah, right. It is difficult to study when you are in love. Tomorrow you have a test on the War of 1812, but who cares about the War of 1812 when you're in love? Everything else seems irrelevant. Well, I mean, when you're in love with someone, like everything that you all have to do, you support each other. So you can like have sexy time studying the War of 1812 together. That sounds really weird. But, it could be like intimate time where you're both studying it together. A man said to me, Dr. Chapman, my job is disintegrating. What do you mean? I asked. I met this girl, fell in love, and I can't get a thing done. I can't keep my mind on my job. I spend my day dreaming about her. I think you're dreaming about having sex with her, not dreaming about her. Well, I mean, he said love is a battlefield. The euphoria of the in love state gives us the illusion that we have an intimate relationship. We feel that we belong to each other. We believe we can conquer all problems. We feel altruistic towards each other. I mean, just because someone like is rude, like get out of my way and gives you boundaries doesn't mean that they're not in love with you anymore. By the way, one of my favorite things about Whole Foods is they have dandelion juice, which is so good because it's like so good for the kidneys. If that guy said that what does it say? This heart is in the way. I can't see. Oh, if that guy said that he needs to go fishing, huh? The hair is in the way, and oh, mm. Anyway, this is the best thing ever. I think you all should try it. It's called deep cleaning low glycemic juice. And I was doing some deep cleaning, and outside on the porch, there can be like critter poo poo and stuff. And I felt like I got like dirty from it. And so this is cleaning me from the inside out. Yay. Okay, where am I? This video should be called Hanging Out and Live Reading because we're like mostly hanging out. We feel that we belong to each other. We believe we can conquer all problems. We feel altruistic towards each other. As one young man said about his fiancée, I can't conceive of doing anything to hurt her. My only desire is to make her happy. I would do anything to make her happy. Such obsession gives us the false sense that our egocentric attitudes have been eradicated and we have become sort of a Mother Teresa, willing to give anything for the benefit of our lover. Yeah. And like, I think the healthiest way to deal with that is to know that you don't mean it like 1,000% when you say that. Like within your means, you'll do anything, but it's okay to like say it out loud because that's the feeling that you have, you know? and you will do anything you're capable of. But, you know, God throws us challenges all the time, and it's up to God, and it's like being grateful and giving it up to God, right? The reason we can do that so freely is that we sincerely believe our lover feels the same way towards us. I mean, not necessarily. Like, you know, I don't think people always expect the other person to feel that way back if they feel it so strongly for them, you know? Like, I feel like I would do anything for my kitty cat, and I don't think she's capable of, you know, doing anything for me. So it's all about having clear expectations too, and like the agreement that you make when you're in a relationship. Um, we believe that she is committed to meeting our needs, that he loves us as much as we love him, and would never do anything to hurt us. I'm just saying, like, everyone has different skills, right? Like, I've had so many unrealistic expectations of past relationships, and that's been one of the issues, I think, is like, and I think that's what this book talks about, like the love languages, is like, I would think that they would reciprocate, but they were doing it in their own way. So it's like having those clear expectations, right? That thinking is always fanciful. That thinking is always fanciful. Not that we are insincere in what we think and feel, but we are unrealistic. Exactly. We fail to reckon with the reality of human nature. By nature, we are egocentric. Our world revolves around us. None of us is totally altruistic. The euphoria of the in love experience only gives us that illusion. That's true. She does. Oh, it was so funny. Today, it was either today or yesterday, I found a cricket. So I trapped it, and it was like a little bowl that I have for it. I trapped it on a plate, and I like revealed it kind of like, when someone reveals a beautiful platter with the silver arch over it. And she got her nose right up against the cricket. It was a cricket. Did I say grasshopper? And then it just like flew on the wall, and we both looked at each other, and then she gave me a little rub. It was so cute. Okay, where am I? Not that we are insincere in what we think and feel, but we are unrealistic. We fail to reckon with the reality of human nature. By nature, we are egocentric. Once the experience of falling in love has run its natural course, remember the average in love experience lasts 2 years. Okay, we'll remember that. We will return to the world of reality and begin to assert ourselves. He will express his desires, but his desires will be different from hers. He wants sex, but she's too tired. He dreams of buying a new car, but she flatly says we can't afford it. She would like to visit her parents, but he says, I don't like spending so much time with your family. Little by little, the illusion of intimacy evaporates, and the individual desires, emotions, thoughts, and behavior patterns assert themselves. They are two individuals. Their minds have not melded together, and their emotions mingled only briefly in the ocean of love. Now, the waves of reality begin to separate them. They fall out of love, and at that point, either they withdraw, separate, divorce, and set off in search of a new in love experience, or dum 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 dum, they begin the hard work of learning to love each other without the euphoria of the in love obsession. Or, as Dr. Ruth says, take 2 years to learn how to love each other and then fall in love. Some couples believe that the end of the in love experience means they have only two options: resign themselves to a life of misery with their spouse, or jump ship and try again. Our generation has opted for the latter, whereas an earlier generation often chose the former. Before we automatically conclude that we have made the better choice, perhaps we should examine the data. According to a substantial body of research, ooh, statistics, the divorce rate for the second marriage is at least 60% and rises when children are involved. Hmm. Well, I will say that I think a lot of the battles that happen are your own demons. It's like you start to see yourself through the other person when you have such proximity. It's like you forget that you're separate and then your own shadows come out to play. So, like, I think love languages are cool and everything, but I think if you don't go to the depth of your own shadows and do the shadow work, then what's going to happen is your shadow is going to show up again with your next partner. So it's like if you work it through with one person, then you just keep working it through and it's all good. Well, I mean, you can call it shadow work, you can call it inner child work. It's basically like your insecurities, your deepest fears, the traumas that get triggered, your PTSDs. If you can't face yourself, then I mean, you're gonna have a hard time with a relationship. Research seems to indicate that there is a third and better alternative. We can recognize the in love experience for what it was, a temporary emotional high, and now pursue real love with our spouse. That kind of love is emotional in nature, but not obsessional. It is a love that unites reason and emotion. It involves an act of the will and requires discipline, and it recognizes the need for personal growth. Personal growth, that's another word for shadow work. Our most basic emotional need is not to fall in love, but to be genuinely loved by another, to know a love that grows out of reason and choice, not instinct. I need to be loved by someone who chooses to love me, who sees in me something worth loving. Mineral water is the best. We are all worth loving. We are all worth loving. I feel like I should check on Kitty Cat. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. Okay. That kind of love requires effort and discipline. It is the choice to expend energy in an effort to benefit the other person, knowing that if his or her life is enriched by your effort, you too will find a sense of satisfaction, the satisfaction of having genuinely loved another and doing anything for them, like you originally obsessed about. It does not require the euphoria of the in love experience. In fact, true love cannot begin until the in love experience has run its course. Hmm. True love's not a secret. You'll know loud and clear. You won't have to hide it. You won't feel any fear. True love's not a secret. You'll know loud and clear. You won't have to hide it. You won't feel any fear. I know it's silly for me not to have made my match, but I've been caught up in the silly game. Gotcha, Kevin. We cannot take credit for the kind and generous things we do while under the influence of the obsession. We are pushed and carried along by an instinctual force that goes beyond our normal behavior patterns. To procreate! That was my words that I added. But if once we return to the real world of human choice, we choose to be kind and generous, that is real love. Are you getting what he's saying here? He's saying that you are intoxicated when you are in love, when you're not being yourself. And then when you come down from the high, then you'll find out if it's true love or not. The emotional need is deep, isn't it? It's deeper than just what's your love language? I think that's a very shallow, obnoxious question. Because why should I tell you if I'm not in a relationship with you? It's just like TMI. Okay, not TMI, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I mean, it's a conversation starter, I guess. You know? Well, I don't think it's about paying attention. I think if you're married to someone, then it is definitely a good dialogue to have. But I think, like, as a casual conversation, it's like, that's not your business. We're not married. Anyway, um, the emotional need for love must be met if we are to have emotional health. Married adults long to feel affection and love from their spouses. We feel secure when we are assured that our mate accepts us, wants us, and is committed to our well being. During the in love stage, we felt all of those emotions. It was heavenly while it lasted. Our mistake was in thinking it would last forever. I don't think I don't think the mistake is that it will last forever. I think the mistake is thinking that that is the answer to everything. Like, I think it's important to realize that you can take care of yourself in so many ways and make your environment wonderful for you. And just because you're in love with someone and when you're around them, it's like the environment becomes amazing because just their energy is amazing. It doesn't mean that you can't continue to create the energy that you need for yourself. Um, but that obsession was not meant to last forever. In the textbook of marriage, it is but the introduction. The heart of the book is rational, volitional love. That is the kind of love to which the sages have always called us. It is intentional. That is good news to the married couple who have lost all of their in love feelings. If love is a choice, then they have the capacity to love after the in love obsession has died and they have returned. We're on page 33. Now we're on page 34. To the real world. That kind of love begins with an attitude, a way of thinking. Love is the attitude that says, I am married to you and I choose to look out for your interests. Then the one who chooses to love will find appropriate ways to express that decision. But it seems so sterile, some may contend. Love is an attitude with appropriate behavior. Where are the shooting stars, the balloons, the deep emotions? The balloons are banned because they're an environmental hazard, duh. What about the spirit of anticipation, the twinkle of the eye, the electricity of a kiss, the excitement of sex? What about the emotional security of knowing that I am number one in his or her mind? That is what this book is all about. How do we meet each other's deep emotional need to feel loved? If we can learn that and choose to do it, then the love we share will be exciting beyond anything we ever felt when we were infatuated. I think he's got a point there. For many years now, I have discussed the 5 emotional love languages in my marriage seminars and in private counseling sessions. Hey, Board 24/7. Thanks, Kevin. Thousands of couples will attest to the validity of what you are about to read. My files are filled with letters from people whom I've never met saying, "A friend loaned me one of your tapes on love languages, and it has revolutionized our marriage. We had struggled for years trying to love each other, but our efforts had missed each other emotionally. Now that we are speaking the appropriate love languages, the emotional climate of our marriage has radically improved." But do you understand his grunt? That is my question. When your spouse's emotional love tank is full and he feels secure in your love, the whole world looks bright and your spouse will move out to reach his highest potential in life. But when the love tank is empty and he feels used but not loved, the whole world looks dark and he would likely never reach his potential for good in the world. And I think some people have disillusions about their love tank. Like, I think some people think, oh, if you're not doing that, you don't love me. And then it's like they empty the love tank, you know? There's going to be an ad. Let me try to finish this chapter before the ad comes. I will explain the 5 emotional. Wait. In the next 5 chapters, I will explain the 5 emotional love languages, and then in chapter 9, illustrate how discovering your spouse's primary love language can make your efforts at love most productive. Here's an exercise. Look back on that point in your marriage when reality set in, or relationship, if you haven't been married, and the initial romantic feelings faded. How did this affect your relationship for better or for worse? Let's share stories. Hmm. For me, I feel like for me it was like when they didn't see me, like when I thought they saw me, but they didn't, or like I had one guy say, "So when are you gonna like decide that you're too old to maybe make it as a musician," or something like that. Like he didn't really get that this being a musician thing was like something I was going to do the rest of my life, whether I was famous or not. I was like, wait, he doesn't get me. But that's not something you could work on. That should have been a breakup. So what about you guys? When did the falling in love thing stop in your relationships? I guess in general, like if I have felt more objectified than cared about and loved tenderly, that usually stops my loving feelings. Oh man. That's literally ending the intoxication. I think some people do use in other intoxicants to get intoxicated with love. Wow, that's like the opposite of Kevin. That's so ironic. It's like here we are all together. All right. Falling in love. So, chapter 4 is love language number 1, words of affirmation. What do you think? Are you all up for another chapter? It'll probably be another hour, or should we do this another night? She was more, her feet were planted in the ground, and she was like, nope. I mean, that's to the book of what Gary Chapman is talking about. So you're on the boat and I'm the stream? Are you riding the waves? I didn't realize it would take so long. I think we should stop and do this chapter another night. Unless like, I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe take a little break. Let me see if my video was reviewed. I really want to post that video of my drumstick. I don't know what to call it. What should I call the video of me playing a drumstick with my foot? I have 2 title ideas. One of them is, have you ever done this before? Has anyone ever done this before? And the other one is, couldn't believe she could hold that with her foot. I think I'm gonna re-upload it, and because basically it shows the thumbnail, and I was trying to figure out how they randomly pick the thumbnail for shorts, because you can't pick your own, and like I think that that's really indicative of like if someone's going to click on it is like what it looks like, right? And so like a couple of times, like if I ended with a fade out, it shows a black screen. And I'm like, why are you choosing the black screen? That's so rude. So I think I'm going to have to take the fade out so that it's not a black screen. Yep. I don't know. I'm feeling like maybe we should digest that. Well, I have arms. I was playing ukulele and then playing the drumstick with my foot. It was just like right here. Like I was just like, you know. Well, I put my foot up like this and then played the drumstick. My love language is drumstick in that video. Yeah, what I'll do, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's probably what showed up at the 17-second mark. I was thinking it does it like at 17 or 18 seconds of all the videos. That's what I was guessing. I'm gonna save chapter 4 for another day, and I am going to get some other things done. Reading makes me tired. I think I'm kind of like dyslexic. It's hard for me. It takes a lot of work to read. I'm way better at just doing the qigong. But yeah, the shot was mostly me and my ukulele, and then like at a certain point, I just kind of like lifted my foot up like once with the stick, but mostly it was just the stick. All right, beautiful people, let's digest this. We'll do another chapter another night, maybe next Friday. And thanks for sticking around with us, Kevin. And again, much love for you. I know there's a lot of prepping to do for Sunday. Guten Nacht. Bonsoir. Lila Tov. And I'll see you tomorrow. Anyone who's coming to Golden Drops, if you're coming to Golden Drops 3 to 5, I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll be a little bit cooler than it has been. And yeah, thanks for everything. Thanks for joining me today. And if I knew you wasn't married, I would have stayed much more. No, I'm not. Yeah. Yeah, y'all. Thanks again for joining me. And thank you, Dr. Chapman, for this book. And I look forward to reading more with everyone. Bye.